we were talking about the causes of disunity in Islam. What brings about disunity? And one of those things that lead to disunity is forgetting the goal of life. Forgetting why we were created. We were created for a particular reason. Yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us to worship Him. We were not created for any other thing. Most of us forgot the purpose of life, the goal of life. That is why we fight. That's why we are disunited. We want power. We are loose for power. We don't tolerate one another. We thought maybe that is the reason why we are on earth. We look at this world like a permanent place. We forgot the reason why we were created, my dear brothers and sisters. That is why we are disunited. Second idea is abandoning the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When I say the sunnah, I mean the way of life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is why we are disunited, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. We abandon the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What are the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The way of his way of life, being trustworthy, being humble, being kind, studying hard, observing ibadah accordingly. That is the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why even before him becoming the Prophet, they used to call him Al-Amin, the trustworthy, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. So we forgot about the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the way of life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We bring about things that we feel is better than is better in our life. That is why we are disunited, my dear brothers and sisters. Following innovation, bid'ah. Following bid'ah, my dear brothers and sisters, these are one of those things that disunite the Muslim Ummah today. If you are not following the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you are not following the Quran and the Hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you are not following the way of life of Islam, then you will be having problem. If you want new innovations, if you're bringing new innovation, you will think within you that you want to do this. And I would think within me that what you want to do is bad, and I prefer this, then we'll be disunited. If I bring my idea and you bring yours, if it does not match, we will be disunited. So why won't us go back to the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Why won't us go back to the Quran and Sunnah, practicing the Quran? Whosoever is coming with something should have a proof, should have an evidence from the Quran and the Sunnah. When we do something like that, we will be united, my dear brothers and sisters. We will be united under one roof, because we will be discussing only the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The next thing is nationality, where we talk about the Arabs, the white men looking down on the black, and this tribe is looking down on the other tribe. That also cause, disunity among the people. If you are down looking at me, if you look down upon me, I will not respect you, my dear brothers and sisters. And if I did not respect you, we may not stand toe to toe in the salat. And I may not like to stay where you are staying. So if you call us for unity, I may not be there because you are looking down upon me. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, let's try to honor one another. Falling to suspicious. We always fall to suspicious. It's one of those things that disunite the Muslim Ummah today. We fall to suspicious when you see people are organized, and you'll be thinking that they are talking about you. Your Muslim brothers are organized, and they are seated somewhere, and you'll be thinking that they are talking about you. And this will also bring disunity, because you don't know what they are discussing. And even if they are discussing about you, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Matter just this way. Do not dig up what is not there. Just be patient and just assume that they did not talk about you. Make it within you that they are not talking about you. And you will have a peace of mind, and you will be united with them. Whenever it is, because people is part of the life of people that they talk about others. I am not saying that speaking about others is right. I'm saying it's wrong, but it's part of the nature of people that they talk about others. So let's try to, let's not be suspicious. Let's not always falling into suspicions, assuming this and assuming that. Hiding fault, my dear brothers and sisters, is one of those things that disunite the Muslim Ummah today. We hide fault of our brothers because we are in the same tribe with him. Therefore, even if he is the one that is faulty, we hide the fault and we assume it's somebody else that has done it. Because we are in the same sect with a particular person, therefore we hide his own fault. That is wrong. It will bring disunity. The second person, he knew that it is that brother that did that particular act. But you, who is there, knew that he knows he is the person that did that particular act. You hide it because he is maybe the same tribe with you. He is in the same sect with you. You are not doing justice. And this is one of those things that brings disunity among our Muslim Ummah today. And the next thing is seeking unnecessary excuses. Seeking unnecessary excuses. When you are called upon to come and sit down and discuss things that will unite the Muslim Ummah, you seek excuses that you don't want to be there, maybe because your boss don't want to be in that group. That's why you seek excuses that you will not be there. How can you be united, my dear brothers and sisters? How can we be one? How can we be under one roof? How can we be under one umbrella? These are some of the problems we used to have in the contemporary Muslim generation. And now let's look at the consequences of disunity. The consequences of disunity. Love to hatred. Whenever you are not united from loving each other, you come to hate each other, my dear brothers and sisters, because what you're doing, I am not pleased with it. Even if you're doing the right thing, I will hate you because of what you've done to me, because we are not united. And also peace to conflicts. We may be in peace when we are united, but when we are not united, we will be in conflict, my dear brothers and sisters. And also trust to suspicious. We may be in trust because we are united, but immediately when we are not united, we will be in suspicious, falling into suspicious, lose of power and strength. When we are not united, we will lose power, we will lose strength, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا فَتَفْشَلُوا وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ وَاصْبِرُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. Then you should not quarrel, because if you quarrel, your strength will go away from you. Your power will depart from you. Therefore, if you want to be united, if you want to have strength and power, you have to be united, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. And the next thing is that it's going to bring distraction to our activities. If we are not united, if the Muslim Ummah are not united, there will be distraction in our activities. This caller will go and preach, and the other caller from the other sect will go and nullify the speech of the first caller because of lack of unity. Had it been they were united, he will not dispute what this first caller said. But because of there is no unity among them, he will bring some verses of the glorious Quran, some hadith of the Prophet ﷺ to dispute what the first scholar said, which is not welcome in Islam, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. Now let's talk about to be united, we need the following. If we want to unite today, let's look at the solution to our problem. What will lead us to solve this very particular problem of, love to hatred. I mean, trust to suspicious, peace to conflict. I mean, lust of power, lust of achievement, etc., etc. How can we achieve? I mean, what are the solutions to this very particular problem? One is we should not be selfish. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, "La yu'minu ahadukum hatta yuhibba li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsihi." One of you would not be a good believer until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. So, we should not be selfish. We should not be selfish. We should try to love for our brothers what we love for ourselves. Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, "Al-mu'minu lil-mu'min kal-bunyan yashuddu ba'duhum ba'd." The believers should be like a structure, a building. One part of it is strengthening the other part. Therefore, the second thing is stand like a structure. You should stand like a structure. I mean, one part of the structure should be strengthening the other part. Because if there is a problem in one part of the structure, the other part also is going to have a problem. So try to stand like a structure. You should hold one side and the other person will hold the other side and the other person will hold the other side and the structure of the building will be strengthened. My dear brothers and sisters, this is highly important. Honor and respect one another, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. Try to honor and respect one another. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La tahasadu, wa la tanajashu, wa la tabagadu, wa la tadabaru, wa la yabi ba'dukum ala baydi ba', wa qulu li ibadillahi ikhwan. Al-Muslimu aqul Muslim, la yazlimu, wa la yakzulu, wa la yahkiruhu. التقوى حقنا ويشير إلى صدرك صلى الله عليه وسلم بحسب امرئ من الشر أي خير قول مسلم كل مسلم على مسلم حرام دمه وماله وعبده. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Do not envy one another. Do not wrong one another. Do not look down upon one another. Do not outsell one another. Do not outbid one another." You should try to understand all this, and you should understand that the entirety of a Muslim is sacred to another Muslim. His wealth, his life, his honor. You should try to understand that. You should protect the honor of your Muslim brother. You should try to protect his honor, protect his wealth, and protect his life. That is what is expected from you, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. Don't try to envy one another. Love one another as you love yourself. That is one of the reasons. That's one of the, the result. The solution to the problem of our Muslim Ummah today. Stay away from tribalism. Stay away from tribalism, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. Try to stay away from tribalism. If you are engaged in tribalism, you are not going to be united. We have to understand this and do not quarrel. We mentioned this last time and try to reconcile, because the Prophet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the glorious Quran, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَ أَخْوَيْكُمْ. Inshallah, we are going to stop here for this week. Next week, inshallah, we will continue from where we stop. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.